Hey there, I'm Onnie, a self-care coach who's all about helping busy, people-pleasing moms release the do-it-all, be-it-all mentality. Let's talk about how you can know yourself, love yourself, and be yourself in all the hats you wear these days. So, I want, before I get into the specific excuses that you may be making, which are keeping you from practicing self-care, I want to go a little bit, bring you back a little bit to the basic of cognitive behavioral and cognitive behavioral theory. And what that means is that our emotions are influenced by our thoughts. Our thoughts are influenced by our beliefs. They're based on what we believe about ourselves and the world. And so I should have had a cup of water in here. Getting a little thirsty. So I think I can make it to the end of the video. But our beliefs influence our thoughts determine how we feel, and based on what we think and what we feel, those are the actions we take. And so today I'm going to take you through that whole process as we look at what thoughts you've been having, which are causing you to feel a certain way, and then in our case, I'm talking about a lack of action, right? Not practicing self-care, not filling your bucket. So these are the behaviors that we're seeing, but we're going to dive deeper and see, what are you thinking? And what, kind of dig a little deeper into those thoughts, because those are causing you to feel, that guilt that you're feeling when it comes to self-care, when it comes to taking care of yourself. So the first big excuse, and I'm not trying to, put you down for feeling any way. The way you feel is the way you feel. The thoughts that I'm about to go over today are exact thoughts that I felt. And I still struggle with them sometimes, which is why I always need to collect the evidence and look at reasons and look at the evidence that goes against these thoughts, which is exactly what I talk to you about every week, and in all my posts and everything, is addressing these thoughts and blowing them wide open and seeing what's going on here. Where's the irrationality of the law? So the first one is thinking that I'm selfish. I have my notes here in front of me. I'm selfish to want time without the kids to do the things that I like or enjoy. In my case, I didn't even know what it was that I did like. When I first started becoming intentional about my self-care, I was so immersed in taking care of everybody else that I really didn't even have much interest of my own. But just stepping away, or taking 5 minutes for myself, when it's not, even hiding in the bathroom or whatever it is that I did, I would feel selfish, because I would feel selfish even thinking that I wanted time for myself. And so these were the thoughts that were going along in my mind, was, I am selfish. And that led me to feeling really guilty. That felt me not even taking the action to take that break, or to spend time doing things that I like, or, spending time on my own. It was just the thought of that evoked a lot of guilt. So if you're watching this and you have experienced this, please let me know. I want to know that I'm not alone here. And from many of the women that I talk to, a lot of the moms, I don't think I am alone, but I want to know, if you're watching this video and you feel that, let me know. But here's the evidence here, right? Is it guilt? Is it selfish? Is it selfish for you to want time for yourself, or for you to do the things you enjoy? And the answer to that, in my rational mind, is no. It is not selfish, because what you're doing by engaging in the activities that you enjoy is you're filling your bucket, right? And whether you're practicing physical self-care, going to therapy, working on developing yourself, doing jigsaw puzzles, it all is about filling your bucket and recharging yourself. And so when you step away to do these things that you enjoy, or to practice self-care, you're filling your bucket. You're giving your family a beautiful gift. You're filling your bucket. You're making sure that you are the best version of yourself for your family. And so that very essence of like what that self-care is shows that it is not selfish. In fact, it's the complete opposite, because you're giving so much of yourself to others. You're giving the best version of yourself to others. You give your family the best of you, not the rest of you, right? Because we know that self-care helps to decrease your stress, helps to give you, people who practice self-care actually live longer. You are giving more of your life to somebody else, to your family. You're going to be there for your grandkids and beyond. It also, helps to fight diseases. It improves your mood. And if mom ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, right? Can I get an amen to that? So by engaging in self-care and doing those things you love, it's the complete opposite of being selfish. So therefore, there's no evidence to support that thought of I'm selfish for wanting to engage in self-care, for wanting to do things that you love. So yes, you may feel guilty having that thought, but you really need to reflect on the rationality of that thought. And in this case, as I've just explained, it's not a rational thought. And we can really, look at what distortions lie in that thought. And it would definitely evoke a different emotion once you sort out, and kind of dissect that thought. So the second, I put 4 fingers instead of the second. Okay, so the second excuse that I've had myself and I've heard many moms give was, my family won't survive without me, right? And this really comes down to a control issue, thinking that you are, the one in control, and the minute you step away to do things that you enjoy, the minute you step away to fill your bucket, all hell is going to break loose. And is this true, right? When you're looking at a scale from 0 to 100, you might think initially like, oh gosh, yeah, like a 90% chance of my house being destroyed, my kids, not being able to eat. There's so many things that go through our minds as moms. I get it. I felt all this. I've thought all of these as well, and I used to hide behind my busyness, like thinking, oh my gosh, I have so much to do, so much to take care of. All of these people are depending on me. And yes, it's true. Like, your kids are depending on you. But we're not talking that you're going away on like week-long vacations as self-care. We're talking 10 minutes a day to be able to fill your bucket and make time for you, because, when you're thinking that your family won't survive without you, sure, it makes you feel very needed. It makes you feel like perhaps I guess you're not really feeling appreciated unless, you do certain things to feel appreciated, but you feel needed, right? And that may be an amazing feeling for you, knowing that so many people depend on you and that you are central to their world. But it's not fair to your family, right? One, your kids need to learn responsibility. They need to learn that you're not there to entertain them 24/7. You're not there to make sure that every single need, because you're not, okay, I'm not talking about infants, even little toddlers, right? They're very dependent. But as you grow, as we're raising our kids, we want to foster that independence. And you being intentional about your self-care is, one, teaching them, it's modeling for them that they can take care of themselves. But 2, it's giving them that opportunity to take care of themselves. And you want to do it in a safe way. You want to make sure that your kids are being taken care of. But you're also modeling to them what it means to take care of themselves. And I know we want like our kids to be better off than us and everything. So you're teaching your kids a wonderful skill or a wonderful thing by practicing self-care. So let's look at that thought. My family won't survive without me. Is that true? Can we honestly say like that is a false thought. And so that thought is making you feel needed, and it may also bring up some resentfulness or some resentment, I guess is the noun. So it's going to bring up some resentment from you, some deeper emotions. And so we want to see like what can you be feeling, or what do you want to feel? And then come up with that thought that's going to evoke that emotion. And so we don't want to feel, sure, it's nice to feel needed, but it also wears on you. And so looking at that thought and changing that thought is going to change the way you feel, and that behavior of not practicing self-care can be switched when you change that thought that you're having. So finally, the third excuse that I am guilty of having, and I know that many of you have had this thought, is I just don't have the time. And I get it. It's a real reason. Like I said, I hid behind my busyness. I was like, I have too much to do. There's no way that I have time to focus on myself or do what I love. But this goes a little bit deeper, and it's an uncomfortable feeling, or it's an uncomfortable thought that you may be having. And that is, I'm not important enough to focus on, right? Because you hide behind your busyness, you have all these things that seem like they're priority. And yes, there are a lot of things that you need to do. I am not denying that. There absolutely is tons of things that need to get done. But you are important, you matter, and you are worthy to focus on, right? That you can raise yourself up to be in your priorities, in your prioritized tasks, and you can make time for yourself. This is something I have proven. I've seen many women who have proven that this is true. You can make time for yourself, but you have to believe that you are worthy to focus on. Because what we focus on increases. So if you focus on yourself, one, you've already gotten over that excuse, or we've already talked about that excuse of feeling selfish or thinking that you're selfish, right? We've dispelled that belief or that excuse. My family won't survive without me, right? We've just gone over that. So now it's deeper, right? Thinking that you are important, or believing that you are important enough to focus on, and then prioritizing yourself, right? Because when we think that we're not worthy or important enough, it's going to bring those negative feelings of hopelessness, and you're going to feel very discouraged. So the best thing to address this excuse is to take action. Start showing yourself self-love. Start proving to yourself that you are worthy, right? So start prioritizing. One way to do that is to plan, and I've talked before about this, and I can't overstress it enough, is to schedule that date with yourself, right? Become intentional about showing yourself that self-love. And that's going to reinforce the new belief, which takes me to, once you become aware of these excuses that you're making that are preventing you or keeping you from practicing self-care, you want to start challenging them. Start switching those thoughts and the underlying beliefs to be thoughts that are going to evoke the feelings that you want and the actions that you want to take. The feelings that you want to feel and the actions you want to take. But it starts with that belief and that thought. And so you want to challenge them. And you need to be intentional. It takes work, right? You can do your affirmations, and you can do your, manifestation, all the things to shift those beliefs. But it takes intention and it takes work, right? The first step is awareness. The second step is to start challenging those thoughts. Write them down. Put them on Post-its. When you by tracking what you're thinking, and then in the moment challenging them, and it might not happen right in the moment, right? It might take at night when you reflect on the day, like what thoughts came up for you, what feelings were you feeling, and what were those thoughts that led to those feelings. The more you do it, the more you make the time to reflect on it, the more it's going to start happening in the moment, right? And so then you can avoid those negative emotions altogether, or you can at least make them less negative. But it takes time, and it takes patience, and it takes work to make that happen. It takes practice, right? Like any good things, it takes practice. So, and then you're going to find that you become, right? These thoughts become your new thoughts. These beliefs become your new beliefs. They're no longer the automatic negative thoughts, but now you are at thoughts that are actually serving you. And so you're going to discover, and it's going to reinforce those beliefs. The more it happens, the more it's going to be reinforced. And so instead of thinking I'm selfish, have the thought, I'm giving my family a gift. I'm giving my family a beautiful gift. Instead of thinking my family, I'm so busy, my family's never going to survive if I step away for a minute. Say, my family will survive and they're going to thrive. They're going to learn to take responsibility, and they're going to learn how to be independent, and all of those things that we want to foster in our kids. And then finally, instead of saying, I just don't have time, say, I'm worth the time, right? Repeat that mantra to yourself. Have that mantra each morning when you wake up. I'm worth the time. I'm worth the focus, right? And the more you say it, the more that new belief becomes instilled in you. And the more you do the work, the more it becomes instilled in you. Because you learned those other beliefs. You've learned what you believe right now. You've learned that through years of experience. Things that you've witnessed or experiences that you've gone through. But you can unlearn them. You can replace those negative beliefs with beliefs that serve you. And that's what I talk about in my programs and in everything I do. My Self-Care Goals Club, which is an exclusive membership for moms who are working on creating habits. We do a lot of mindset work where we're talking about shifting those beliefs and creating new actions, new behaviors, because we've done the work that's underneath, the thoughts and the emotions underneath. So yes, what do you want to feel? If you want to practice self-care, if you want to have that time for yourself to be able to develop yourself and grow yourself and love yourself and know yourself, then it starts with the thoughts and the beliefs that you're having. So start there. Let me see what else I have coming up. Oh, I have a whole guide on this, and it was something I created months ago, I think maybe even a year ago. It was all about stopping the excuses and start taking care of yourself. I will put the link to that I'll put that link to that in the comments. So go ahead and you can download it and all of that. And let me know what you think of this video. If you do get the guide, give me some feedback, right? I want to help you, help yourself. But I need to know what you need, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, all of that good stuff, in order to be able to help you as best as I can. So I got that. I've also if you are struggling with getting a good night's sleep, I've got a workshop coming up, and I'm super excited about this. It's on March 19th, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's all about, it goes deeper than just addressing sleep hygiene, right? I did if you want to find out more about that, I did do a Facebook Live in my group, only in my group, so you got to be a Moms Without Capes. But if you have any questions about that, and in the next week or two, before the event, I'm going to be putting lots of information out about that. But just know that's coming up on March 19th, and it's Sleep Matters. It's self-care for the troubled sleeper. And if you are struggling, if you're a mom who's struggling with sleeping, you're going to want to attend this. It's a 2-hour workshop. You're going to learn so much. And so I invite you to that. You'll see. I'll put it under this video. I'm still getting together some of the promo materials and all of that. But just be on the lookout for that. That's going to be coming real soon. And I think that's all I have for today. Next week for my Facebook Live, you're going to want to mark your calendars for that, and I'll put it as an event in Facebook. But next week we are having Money Master, I forget what title she goes by, Money Master Amy Sarka. She's going to talk to us all about, she's going to bust some myths about financials specifically for moms. So same time, 12 o'clock Mountain Time and 2 p.m. Eastern Time next Friday. I hope that thank you all for joining me today, and I will see you all next week. you.